and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. I'm your host, Gil Valtierra, the voice of Calaveras football. It's Friday night, and your Calaveras RedHawks are done for the season after their loss to Sonora. My guests this week for the final episode of Season 1 are none other than head varsity football coach at Calaveras High, Coach Manny Mossa, defensive coordinator Doug Clark, and O-line, D-line legend, Coach Scott Anderson.
Let's go.
Yeah, baby. Hey, 9-3, round 2 of the playoffs. Kind of finished it there. We'll get more into it, guys, but thank you so much for being here. Coach Mossa, how you doing?
Good. The crowd still loves us.
There you go. They still love you. It's the Calaveras faithful. There's a reason why they call them the faithful.
Yes.
Coach Clark, how are you?
Doing excellent.
Coach Anderson?
Man, I'm doing great.
Good. So, hey, let's start off with some, we always start off with the whole Calaveras universe. So we start off with the youth program. The Calaveras youth teams were on the road at Argonaut, in which 3 of the 4 programs played in their prospective Super Bowls. What an accomplishment for that. Junior novice, and varsity all in the Super Bowl. Ended up taking 2 out of the 3, so not bad there. The junior novice team were successful. Won the game 26-0 over Argonaut. So congratulations to the Calaveras Junior RedHawks Junior Novice team led by Coach Gregory Mills, Super Bowl champs. So Coach Mills sent me some info. He said Jax Watson had 44 yards rushing, 56 yards receiving, 63 kick return yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 tackles. And I think at halftime he cleaned the bathrooms, got a couple people hot dogs, and that kid was doing everything there was imaginable in that game. Great job, Jax Watson. Tucker Mills, 69 yards rushing and a touchdown. 4 tackles. Gino Varney, 40 yards rushing and 2 tackles. Bronson Jenkins, 59 yards passing with a passing touchdown and a 1-yard rushing touchdown. Also added 3 tackles to that stat line. Brennan House, 6 tackles and a sack. Thomas Steinhoff and Trent Hughes had 4 tackles each. Maxwell Green had 3 tackles. Vincent Vela, 2 tackles. Coach Mossa, tell me a little bit about that game.
Yeah, didn't get to see a lot of it, but 26-0. I mean, looks like Calaveras came to play. I'll tell you that Jax Watson, man, in space, he's dangerous.
He's fast.
Yes, he is.
The Argonaut broke out on a few plays where you go, oh, that kid's gone, but nope.
Yep.
Here comes Watson.
Yeah, you beat me to it. Offensively, he's fast, but defensively, they could not. They had a couple of really good plays, a couple of reverses. He caught him.
Yeah.
You can't run away from him.
Yeah. So he's going to be something special moving up as the next few years go for all the Calaveras faithful to watch him.
So I was told at the banquet he had 30 touchdowns this year.
Hey.
Yeah. 8 years old.
Wow.
7 years old.
Hey, there's a lot of Calaveras lineage there, too. The Watson kid played for us back in the day. I think the Steinhoff kid. And who am I missing? There's another one in there that Varney.
Varney.
Yeah.
Man, those guys, those are some tough boys, man.
House.
Legends.
in there.
Yeah, House.
Legends.
Yeah, that's right. House. Golly.
There's a lot of bleeding red out there that's happening and coming up, and it's all looking good.
Yeah, and the game before, if I remember correctly, it was closer than 26-0. Obviously, I mean Argonaut's a good football team. They were there for a reason. 12-6. 12-6 was the score in the first game they played. So obviously Calaveras, man, they just been getting better.
Right. Well, congratulations to Coach Mills and that whole junior novice program, Super Bowl champs. Moving on to the next level, the novice junior RedHawks took the field, and they also were victorious, 27-0 over Argonaut. Super Bowl champs for the junior novice RedHawks. Coach Arledge got me some info on that game, as he said that the offense was physical, played mistake-free football led by the offensive line. Luca Mellinger, Roman Armis, Landon Nunez, Braden Rowe, Landon Carne Asada, Cooper Watson. Ethan Mossa had 14 carries for 76 yards and 18 yards passing. We'll talk a little bit. We'll address that in a minute. Nolan Mint, 10 carries for 104 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 yards receiving. Gregory Mills, 20 yards passing, 3 carries for 6 yards. Nash Kamenzen, 3 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. Hayden Trio, 3 carries for 15 yards. Landon Carne Asada, 14 yards receiving. Cooper Watson, 18 yards receiving. Defensively, they dominated the game, giving up 0 points to Argonaut. Nolan Mint had 3 tackles for losses. Tyler West, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for losses. Ethan Mossa, 6 tackles. 2 of those were tackles for losses. Cooper Watson, 5 tackles and 1 sack. Gregory Mills, 2 tackles. Levi Lim, 3 pass deflections and 1 tackle. Nash Kamenzen, 2 tackles. Hayden Trio, 2 pass deflections and 1 tackle. Landon Carne Asada, 1 tackle. And Landon Nunez, 1 tackle for a loss. And Coach Mossa, you were on the sidelines. Tell us about that game.
Yeah, it all starts up front. We practiced against a certain defensive look all week long, and they gave us something different, and it didn't take long for the kids to adjust. Really didn't. We scored on our first drive, and kids just kept it going from there. And Argonaut had a great plan, both sides of the football, but our kids were prepared. They were ready to go. They were fired up. Our O-line, man, they move guys.
Right.
They don't. It doesn't matter where they are. They know what to do. They know the scheme. They know where the ball is going, and they know they got to push guys off the ball. And man, they did it.
So I was at the game, and I noticed number 7, Ethan, who normally has no problem finding holes and running and finding lanes to run through. Part of their game plan was they wanted to stop number 7, didn't they?
No question.
Yeah.
No question, which is a smart plan. But we have other guys on the team. Nolan Mant had a great game, as he has all year long. He's probably got the most yards per carry out of any kid in the league, and so he played very well. Fullbacks played very well, both Trillo and Kamazan. And then we went to the bag of tricks a little bit. We've been holding on to some plays for a while, practice them every week, haven't ran them in a game. And
which is why we had number 7 with a pass attempt.
Yep. We had a little sweet pass go on there. Both the tight end, Watson, and Ethan Mossa threw that one. And we had a couple little trickery, a little pop pass to our uncovered tackle.
It's not the Super Bowl if you don't pull something out from underneath your sleeve, right?
Right. I mean, it was really good to see, because you work on those things and you're never sure if you're going to run them,
right?
And sometimes you feel like you're wasting time.
Coach Anderson, I saw you out there on the field on this game. What did you think?
I was just thinking about that. It's the first time I've been to a Pop Warner Super Bowl type environment. The Amador group really put on a good show. Trump flags and fireworks and smoke, and it was pretty cool. I
like the whole parent, right? They had the whole stands out there, that big giant parent tunnel they ran them through.
Yeah, I made my appearance and went and sat in the end zone and stood by myself for a while. It was cool.
So the Argonaut, none of them players ever saw you then, because they never got to the end zone.
No, not on my side at least.
I'll tell you, that whole pregame stuff, man, got our kids fired up.
Right.
That was that little bit extra we need. Like, hey, look, no one else is doing this, right? They're at home here. they're doing it, to a little intimidation, whatever it may be, that doesn't work here, and the guys really bought into that.
It's funny because as I'm standing there on the sideline, I'm watching all this go on, and you got Vince Montgomery, who's vice president of the league. You got
Quincy.
You got Quincy, who's over there, who's president. You got Heather, who's the treasurer. She's on the board. And immediately when Argonaut's doing all this stuff for their pregame, I start hearing them going, "We got to get this for next year. Let's look up this. Let's look at this." And they're already like looking at tips. Like, we got to add this. How much would that cost? Let's look at that up. Let's go. Because they're looking to improve already.
You know what really got me though? As coaches, and Doug and I, and as you as well, and Manny, we all know what it's like to be looking at the field pregame, right? We don't really turn around and look at the fans. And coming in, I could not believe how many Calaveras people were there to support their boys, man. Yeah. And it was really cool to see. Honestly, it was
loaded.
Yeah, packed,
loaded over there.
And let's face it, Argonauts visiting stands aren't the best of the league, right? So when a big crowd like that shows up, it's like, okay, this is going to be a little tough.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Hey, and when things are going bad, they can hear everything that's going on. They're so goddamn close,
I don't particularly like their snack bar setup. Yeah. Not me. Maybe Coach Clark. Maybe you can help us.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. So,
why is that? Maybe elaborate a little bit. Let the listeners know what's going on there.
Oh well, let's go back a few years when we go there for a league game. And I am just starving. So I go, I'm going to grab myself a hot dog before heading up to the locker room to eat before the game. And it was one of those games where I was just starving.
Right.
I couldn't wait.
You're like, I got to get something to just keep me going.
Yep. So hold on here. It's like hiking through freaking
right?
Yellowstone or Yosemite.
There's 3 different elevation changes.
Yeah. So he's got to get his nourishment on the way up.
Right, yeah. So I make the first trek to the actual snack bar, and I finally, I just need a hot dog for pregame. So get myself the hot dog. They give me, aluminum foil with a bun, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. So then I take the second trek up to the next level, and the third trek up to the locker room. I finally get in the locker room and pregame in the locker room, and I sit in the corner, and I'm like, finally. I go and crack open that hot dog, and there's no hot dog.
It's a bun.
It's a bun. You had to go around the corner and get your hot dog off the barbecue.
Would we call it the Dougie dog?
The Dougie dog. Yeah. It's that low protein diet.
Yeah.
Vegan. I didn't know you went vegan that year.
Yeah, that Atkins diet or just bun only.
The anti-Atkins.
See, I never really understood that. So, you go to the snack bar, they give you the bun, and then you're supposed to know that I got to go walk over to the grill guy and go, hey, throw one of these in there, right?
Did not know.
And then now when you look at it, at least for the Pop Warner game that I was at, they have them waiting down the line by the post that walks down to the field. And it's just they need to rework that whole thing, I think. They need to look at that setup.
Right. We'll have to talk to Coach Bo about that.
Yeah, something. Anyways, so, not a big fan of Argonauts snack bar situation. And clearly, after the 2 Super Bowl wins with the junior novice and novice, Argonaut fans weren't a big fan of their offenses, both getting shut out. So great job to the junior RedHawks for 2 shutouts there. Moving on to the third program that made the Super Bowl, the varsity program made it to the Super Bowl. They were playing Houston. Mm-hmm. Now, little preface and pre-story here. The varsity Calaveras junior RedHawks had only lost 1 game all year, and it was to Houston. And so they faced them again. They had their second chance to face their nemesis. Unfortunately, came up short. They lost the game 28-7. So they were the Super Bowl runner-up. But nonetheless, congratulations to Troy Paulson, the head coach, and that entire staff. At that level, coach, those 7th and 8th graders, and to keep those guys going and the competition they face week in and week out. And to make it that far and to say that every game we played, we've lost to only one team is still something to hang your hat on. And some great things and great players that are going to come up from that program and head to the high school that's going to help them out, right?
Yeah, and they played much better this game than they did the last game. Game's a lot closer. This team's a really good team. They got a good combination of size, speed, and toughness, right? Which is something we always preach at Calaveras. You got to be tough, and honestly, these guys need to stick together.
Right.
They all stick together. There's good things coming because I think that Houston program was a really good program. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, we want every one of those 8th graders to go to Calaveras, and stay in the program, stay within.
So you got number 5, right? What was what's
Austin Locke? Yeah,
Austin Locke.
Yeah, he's the dude.
What an athlete!
Yeah.
He had a great season. Number 6, Timewell. I mean, from week 1 when he came to special teams, right? Those guys were sitting there making plays on the special team, kick returns, punt returns.
Pretty sure he was the only touchdown they had, and then he went out. He went out of the game again. I'm pretty sure he went out the first game against Houston. He went out this game too. So I'm not sure what happened exactly, but got to keep everybody involved.
Number 44, Titan Grant. What a season he had as far as just
absolute
on
stud.
defense and just flying around the field. So
he is the type of Calaveras football player, especially when you're talking O-line, D-line.
He's a dog.
You want that guy part of your team.
yeah, I mean, you watch that guy play, and you go, oh boy,
Yep.
And they put at late in the season they put him in at fullback, and every time it was a short yardage or near the goal line, they put him in at fullback. Everybody in the stadium knows he's going to get it, but they couldn't stop it.
Yeah. He's a big kid, big, strong kid, and he works hard. You watch him at practice. He works hard.
Right.
Just to make a point of reference, Coach Mossa, every Sunday when we meet, we sit in there and we'll go through our game plan and get our game plan dialed in for as far as we can get it, right? Until we hit Monday and see what's going to happen. But he always brings up the 8th grade team and shows some highlights of the film and man, we see some good stuff up there, man, or down there. We really, really, really like what we see.
There's a lot of good things happening, and we could talk a little bit more as we start to get into goals moving forward and stuff. But when you look at what Calaveras did last year, it's like, okay, we started off slow at the high school, at the varsity level, came back, put it together, snuck your way into the playoffs, came up short in that first round. Now this year, a much better season, made it to the second round.
Yep.
Now it's like, all right, building off that for next year, on top of all these great things that are happening in the lower levels and those guys coming up. I mean, that's all got positive, things associated with it.
Plus, there's a couple of East San Andres boys there too. You got the Locke and the Devich kid. So we're looking forward to see some San Andres boys playing some high school football for us.
There you go. All right, so moving on to the next level, obviously round 2, the CIF Sacro-Keen section Division 6 playoff bracket. Calaveras went up to play Sonora. They came up short 64-7. Some stats in that game. Calaveras, the quarterback, Cone Kern, was 5 for 13, 72 yards, 2 interceptions, 3 carries for 2 yards rushing. Ayala had 1 catch for 4 yards receiving, 3 carries for 84 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Ferrante, 12 carries for 43 yards rushing. Clifton, 1 carry for 7 yards, 1 catch for 7 yards receiving. Paulson, 1 catch for 4 yards receiving. He also carried the ball 14 times for 40 yards rushing. Hernandez, 2 carries for 1 yard rushing. And Monzo had 2 catches for 57 yards receiving and a carry for 35 yards rushing. A carry for Monzo. Yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, maybe should have done that a little earlier.
He's at 35 yards a carry. He's going, Coach, give me the ball, right? So, Coach, just wrap up the game for us. Let me give you the total yards. 205 total rushing yards, 72 passing yards, total for 277. Wrap up that round 2 game for us. It was a cold, kind of flooded, watery field. Sonora was Sonora. They are who they are. wrap the game up for us.
Yeah, I mean, Sonora's a great football team. We knew it. There was no question. We had to play a flawless game, and we needed some mistakes on their part, and that's we didn't get that, And look, majority of the kids, man, they fought like hell. They really did. They played hard, regardless of what the score was, and you look for a different result, of course, but like I told the kids, somebody's got to lose, and it just happened to be us today.
Coach Anderson, we always go back to you on this and go. We go back to your Anderson isms, and you always have sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Yeah. We were the bug this week,
right?
But it happens. Kids are going to have to go through adversity throughout their lives, and this is what the best part about playing football is you've got a battle. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. You might work your ass off all week and think your paycheck's going to be one thing, but it just might not happen to work out that way.
Uncle Sam came in and said, thank you very much.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. PG&E bill came in again.
There you go. I love that because to me, it's like the only way you learn those lessons is you have to go through them.
Yep.
Right? It's one thing to open up a book and read about something. It's another thing when you learned it and you lived it and it happened to you. And I mean, I think science has proven like when stuff happens to you, you learn way more quicker than if you're just reading about it, right?
Some people do.
Obviously our season's over. Last game for the seniors. But one thing I will say is we had some underclassmen really perform and not quit. Our quarterback Cohen, man, he got hit a few times. Didn't quit. Cody Paulson Jr. didn't quit. Who else we got in there? We got Ryan Clifton. He actually played very well defensively. Didn't quit. Michael Crandall didn't quit. Buddy Kavanaugh didn't quit. As crappy as a loss is, right? The season's gonna end at some point, right? Obviously, it ended a little earlier than we wanted it to end, but man, I really like what I see going forward.
Right, you got lots to look forward to, and it's like I'll go back to you, Coach Anderson. You always said you either got to limit. You're either going to win the last one or you're going to end the season disappointed, right?
Yeah,
it's a tough thing.
Yep. It's a tough thing. Really is. I've got a really good positive story. Our quarterback in the second half, he threw 2 picks in the first half, and they weren't great throws. He was pressing, trying to do the best he could do for the team.
A couple of them he was hit as he was throwing.
Yeah, and we didn't protect him the way we should have. However, at halftime, we're down, 50 to nothing.
0.
Right? Yeah.
0.
And he comes up to me, the forever optimist. This kid, I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. He comes up to me and he's got a big smile on his face. He's like this young pup. And he goes, "Hey, Coach, you know the good thing about this half?" I said, "No, man, I don't know what's good about it there, Cohen." And he says, "I haven't thrown a pick yet." I'm like, "Attaboy, let's go." And it makes me happy that the kid it's just so refreshing to see that,
Yeah.
I'll tell you after his second pick, I'm pretty sure he got hit.
Oh, he got smoked
on the second pick.
Yeah.
And come to the sideline, and he goes, "Hey, Coach, you think we got any shorter routes we can throw?"
I got to get rid of this quicker, Coach.
That's not a bad idea, buddy.
Right. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go around the Division 6 bracket. But before we do that, since it's the last episode of Season 1, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end and looking forward to Season 2, let's hear from one of our sponsors from Season 1. We thank all of them. Let's hear from one of them right now. Ready to transform your backyard into an outdoor paradise? Look no further than the Paver Company, specializing in hardscaping, landscaping, outdoor living spaces, turf, decking, and more. They are your one-stop shop for all your yard upgrade needs. As a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years' experience, the Paver Company takes pride in their top-notch craftsmanship. Get started today with a free estimate and custom design. Make your yard the envy of the neighborhood. Visit us at thepavercompany.com or call us at 916-222-8844 to schedule your consultation. That's 916-222-8844. Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality with the Paver Company. Treats General Store in San Andreas, California is a proud sponsor of Calaveras football and the Let's Talk Football with Coach Val podcast. Treats General Store has everything you need from groceries, meat, liquors, and hardware. Treats General Store since 1852. All right, welcome back, everybody. So, as promised, from around the Division 6 bracket, we just got done talking about Calaveras came up short against Sonora, 64-7. Calaveras is done for the season. Sonora, the number 3 seed, will head out tonight and go play Woodland Christian, the number 2 seed. Any comments on that game, guys?
I don't know much about Woodland Christian. I know a lot about Sonora, and Sonora's a darn good team. And just looking at it on paper, Sonora's a tough team to beat. I know they're the 3 seed, but I think they're the team that you got to knock off.
I agree. I don't know a whole lot about Woodland, but knowing what I know about Sonora, it'd be hard for me to think that Sonora doesn't win this game.
So Sonora has to travel, obviously, right?
Right. So they're going to Woodland, yeah. But
is that a factor? Is it going to rain? You know,
it's supposed to rain, and it's a grass field.
Yeah. You know, get that ball sloppy, and you never know what can happen.
Yep,
it's true. That is true. All right, and Linden victorious 47-0 over Orostimba. So Orostimba is out. Linden, the number 4 seed, will now head off onto the road to take on the number 1 seed, the mighty Bradshaw Christian. Comments around that game, guys?
Yeah, go get them, Linden, man. Honestly, you have nothing to lose. Bradshaw's been kind of ranked number 1 all year long. Played great football,
undefeated.
We've seen a couple films on them. Good football team. Hey, go get them. It's November. Who knows what may happen?
And we always say the Division 6 bracket, we're rooting for the lowly teams unless you're playing us, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
No, exactly.
So,
and Linden,
what do they run? What do they run, Doug?
Bradshaw.
Yeah. Coxbox and
So definitely a run power team. And which is, I would think in Linden's favor, again, take away the weather and the field conditions, but, Linden can score quick and often.
Right.
And so.
From anywhere in the field.
Right. And so it should be a very interesting game. But again, like Coach Mossa said, you guys said, go Linden, go MLL. So
at Bradshaw.
At Bradshaw. Mm-hmm. So they're in Sacramento. Yeah. So those are the top 4 teams there. Top 4 seeded teams.
I wonder if Bradshaw's still using the scissor lifts for the filmers. Remember that?
No, see, I missed all that. I was an amateur.
I do remember that, and if they are, I would say Godspeed to those film guys.
Yeah. Take some of that motion sickness pills or something, man.
All right, moving on. Woodland Christian. Obviously, they beat Liberty Ranch 21-7. That's why they're playing home to Sonora. And then Bradshaw Christian beat Ripon Christian 55-7. Which, man, that's a big. That makes me get scared of Bradshaw a little bit because I've seen Ripon Christian play. They're not bad, but 55 points on them was like, whoa. So we'll see. Other notable games in the Motherlode League that are still playing in the Division 7 bracket. Somerville was victorious 56-0 over Gustine. And then Big Valley Christian was victorious 55-25 over Waterford. So now Big Valley, the number 5 seed, will go back to Somerville, who they were there not too long ago because they're both in the Motherlode League.
Yep.
And Big Valley did go, and they played them tough.
They did.
They played them tough. And in the Division 7 bracket, Big Valley at Somerville, winner's going to the section title game.
Mm-hmm.
So comments around that game?
I don't think anybody's going to stop Somerville.
Yeah,
I really think they're gonna power their way all the way to the section title and then onto a state game. That's just my opinion. I do believe Big Valley gave them and us a run there in league. I think it's they're turning into to be a very good football team. I think they're only going to get better.
Right.
I just think Somerville's too tough this year.
Yeah, they are tough, but I think it should be a good game. Knowing, the winner goes to the section title game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's at Somerville.
At Somerville,
That's a 14-point difference.
Yes,
Coach Weatherby always used to say it. It's a 14-point game, man.
And anytime you play a team for a second time in the same season, it's always a different game the second time go around. It seems to be much closer.
It's a good point.
Every time.
Good point. And Somerville kind of handled them, but Big Valley kept putting points on the boards and kind of was hanging in there. And Somerville was like, these guys won't go away. And then kind of at the end, kind of, all right, that's enough of you. But now let's see what Coach Adam Lima over there at Big Valley has to do with that. But congrats to both of those guys. No matter what, we're going to have a Mother Lode League team in the Division 7 sectional title game.
Yep, awesome.
Yep, that's a good point.
Looking at overall the Mother Lode League standings, Somerville 10-1 now. They were 5-1 in league and try. You call that try champions? Yeah, I guess so. Linden so far is 9-2. They were 5-1. Calaveras 9-3. They finished 9-3. They were 5-1. Also part of the Tri co-championships. Big Valley 7-5. Riverbank finished 6-4. River Islands 2-8. Bret Hart 0-9. Want to make sure I don't forget to thank my buddy Guy Dossie over at the sports editor of the Calaveras Enterprise and the CalaverasEnterprise.com for all the statistics. That's where we get them from.
Somerville's own Guy Dossie.
Somerville's own Guy Dossie. Thank you very much. A former Bear himself.
Yeah, I think he's changed allegiances a little bit. Let's hope.
So normally, Coach Mossa and I would talk about, hey, this week in practice and the upcoming opponent. Clearly, that's not happening. So what I want to do now is call this part of the podcast this season's overview. So 9-3 overall, 8-2 in the regular season, 9-3 overall. Tell me, how you felt the season went. What happened during the season that maybe you thought were some pivotal points, maybe some pivotal games, some big games. Maybe tell me a story along the way that happened that sticks out into your mind. I don't care who goes first, but I'll tell you from the outside looking in, because that's me. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not in the inside no more. Except sometimes you guys let me in the meeting. Sometimes you lock the door on me. But anyways, no, you go what? Barely getting 4 wins to get into the playoffs last year. Struggled at the beginning of the season. Kind of got it together, put it back together, kind of snuck your way into the back door into the playoffs. Played a good, tough Union Mine team. Played a close game, competitive game, lost round 1. And then now all of a sudden the very next year, complete opposite. You start off fast, you end up 8-2, and 8-2 gets you the 11 seed. That's a whole different podcast. We'll deal with that at the CIF. But anyways, gets you the 11 seed. And then now tell me about that, Coach, and we'll go around the table like I said. What's your feeling about the season?
I couldn't be more proud of the kids, honestly. The players, they worked their butt off. We got this thing going in May and in June and took a few weeks off and then, started in July and dealt with some injuries, had a lot of guys come back from injury. And so some guys got a late start, but honestly, I think the kids, they fought hard, they played hard. We weren't able to get past the second round, but we played very well. The kids, again, they work really hard. They really do. And that's half the battle right there. For me, I say, okay, where do we go from here? We're not far off. Game plan's in, right? Offense, defense is in. The kids understand what we're trying to do usually. To me, weight room.
Right.
Weight room. The losses that we had is because the other team blocked and tackled better than we did. It's as simple as that. It really is. And I think sometimes that's a little too boring of a statement, but it's the absolute truth.
Right.
Our last loss against Somerville, they blocked better than we did. They tackled better than we did. It is as simple as that. So we got to get better at that, which to me it starts in the weight room.
It seems kind of funny how I've been there. You guys know I've been there. And Coach Clark, you know this. The hours and hours and breaking down film and writing out formations and just all the work you put in. And after all of that, you're like, none of that really mattered. It all came down to we needed to be bigger and stronger. And after a while, you're like, what am I doing all this for?
Right. No, agreed. But again, going back to looking at the season in an overview, it's been a long time since we've had a team, I believe this year, playing 12 games. We had what I would consider a blowout game, loss at Linden and a blowout game and a loss to Sonora.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a big win against Somerville. And a big win
at home in front of the home crowd.
To me, the biggest game all year was that game. That stands out as overcame some obstacles that game. But regardless, the Linden game, the Sonora game, especially the Sonora game, is we had guys that in a 50-0 at halftime. We have guys that hit the locker room, and then all of a sudden we have an injury or I'm not feeling well. Never had a kid ask to come out. And yet the kids that were on the sideline asking to get in.
Right.
Who wants to get into a game when it's 50-0? And it's been a long time since Calaveras has had a team where these guys wanted to play no matter what.
That's great. I think that's a great sign.
Yeah, getting your ass kicked or kicking ass, they wanted to be a part of it, and it's a good step in the right direction.
I agree. And then looking at the home crowds, I'm up there calling the game on KVGC radio, and I can look down and kind of like just see the crowd. I know you guys, you're so focused what's on the field, but every so often turn around and look at the crowd. It seems like this year, the crowd, even in games, it seemed like, well, this isn't really necessarily a particular big game, but the crowds were bigger, it seemed, this year. It seemed like, wait a minute, this isn't homecoming. Where are all these people coming from? And they were there to watch you guys play football. And I think that's a great thing. And maybe it's just like, because of what the Pop Warner's doing, or because of the big win with Somerville, and that got the community fired up. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that it just seems like there's a buzz going around about Calaveras football.
Yeah, I think we're back. We're trending in the right direction. I can truly state this point right here is the fans are into it, right? 4 or 5 years ago when I came back from Amador after my hiatus, the fans weren't into it. Post-COVID, that kind of BS,
a lot going on.
A lot going on, and there wasn't a lot of buy-in. And slowly we're climbing that ladder towards a section title. I truly feel that we're getting there. We're knocking those things off as we go.
Right.
So, Pops likes to say, "Oh, you just can't be happy with that." And I agree totally.
Right.
However, we have to start somewhere, right? So, and I think we're trending in the right direction.
I agree, and it always am a true believer. It starts down in the lower levels, and look what our lower levels are doing.
Right.
I think it's just not going to happen overnight, but I think in the next, I want to call it from next year to the next 5 to 10 years. There's a lot of potential.
Right.
So we went to all league luncheon to pick all league players. I'm not going to give up the.
I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to talk about that.
However,
I don't care what Coach Mossa says.
Right. So, however, we were talking about staff sizes. That's what coaches do. How many guys you got in your staff? We have 7 at the varsity. We've got 9 overall. We've got 15. We got whatever. We've got 77 players at the varsity level. I don't give 2 shits about that. Right.
Wow.
Right. All I know is in our program right now, we have 6, maybe 7 guys that are there every day for both levels, right? And it's so important to have everyday coaches. Coach Mossa's coaching offense, special teams, weight room, film. Coach Clark's doing special teams, defense, whatever, and I'm just hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for your chance to get in there. Kicker, get over here. Let me tell you something.
I'm just hanging out, man. criticizing these guys about how they're coaching. So, but I really, truly, we need to acknowledge the JV staff, though. You know, Jesus Tapia and John Gilks, we call him Pops. You know, and you know all the guys that help him down there, Coach Brock and Quincy and Coach Phillips. They do a great job. But as Manny says, the number one coach that we have on our staff is, go ahead and say it, Coach.
Coach Sanchez.
Yeah.
Coach Sanchez. He does so much for us that nobody sees.
I'm just amazed that after all these years, it still comes down to everybody's measuring each other's staffs.
It does. It's true, and it's amazing.
It's a guy thing,
right? it's amazing. It doesn't change from high school all the way through, man. Yeah. But people were amazed. Coaches were amazed that we are where we're at with the staff size that we have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a tribute to the kids too. You know, those kids are willing to learn and pick it up quick and
just the logistics of not having enough guys for like running a daily practice.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have to tell you guys.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes.
but you know, again, I'll piggyback off of that. Couldn't be happier. You know, a lot of people have a lot of coaches, right? But having guys that show up every single day, you know, you can count on them to be there. That's a different story,
Right.
You know, I know these guys never miss a day, ever. Sanchez never misses a day. Pops and Tapia never miss a day.
Right.
So for me, man, this both varsity and JV, we have enough coaches that I know will always be there. And, you know, of course, we'll fill around a lot of other good coaches, just maybe can't be there because of their jobs and things like that, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. Yeah, man, I couldn't be happier. I feel like I'm in a great position with all the people willing to help out and be a part of this thing. You know, and I don't think it's going to stop either. You know, you go down the youth level, you guys seeing it. There's 6 to 8 coaches every level at the youth level. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, my eyeballs are kind of open. All right, you know, who may have that job that may allow them to help out.
And they're all getting better and better and better.
Yes, they are.
Troy Paulson,
Absolutely.
who's the head varsity coach, he's been down there coaching for how long?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
It's been, and he's getting better and better and better. And I always say, you know, Coach Anderson ain't getting any younger.
So, hey, let's talk about something else, though. Our cheer program, they did a great job. I mean, phenomenal. Coach Dart up on top with the video,
film. The film.
video.
Yep.
What's the kid's name?
Jesse May.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Rocking Jesse May, man.
He told me, he goes, I didn't think that kid was going to make it. He goes, in by like third week, he's running off, just getting everything handled.
Yeah, he handled everything,
Jesse
man.
May is the dude, man. You know?
And on that same note, I tell you what, the longer I'm there, that national anthem gets better every
I'm
year.
telling you, man, the band, for sure.
The band was spectacular this
First
year.
week of the season, first home game, we all looked at each other and we're like, this is all right. Yeah.
Well, and there's sometimes, you know, at home, I'm taken care of. I don't worry about it calling the game. I got a spot. When I'm away, every week, it's like, oh, where am I going to sit? Where am I going to go? And do they even have a press box? Are they going to let me? And Dart would always make sure, you're with me. And even if he had to give up his spot to make sure I'd go on the air, he'd give up his spot because he knew, it was like, okay, yeah, Coach Mossa is worried about his film, but there's like hundreds of other people out there like, I want to hear the game. Yeah. And he knew, he's like, no, get in here, you're with me. Yeah. And so thanks to him for all of that.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Honestly,
real.
you know, I think, you know, for a small program that we are and having, you know, not, you know, this podcast, the radio, you know, of the game and people helping film, you know, I mean, hey, we got some good things going.
Yeah.
I really believe it. We have some really good things going here. So I thank you too, because this thing's great. You know, these you know, the players that we have that come through here, you know, obviously high school and at the junior level, you know, getting the word out, you know, and I don't know, man, I just think it's a really cool thing for them. It's a cool thing for the parents.
Yep.
Parents working their butts off, getting kids to practice, making sure they're there, and
during break.
And man, I got to be honest, parents are very, very supportive.
Yeah,
very supportive. I mean, granted, things went well for us this year. Very supportive parents. You know, alumni, a lot of alumni coming back.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
You see a lot of kids coming to the football games. You guys brought up the band.
Yeah.
Administration. A lot of teachers just hanging out watching the game now,
Right.
not going home.
All right.
There's some really good things happening right now. We just got to keep that thing rolling.
Yeah, I agree. I see it too. I can feel it. Just see the bigger crowd, seeing all you guys going. So, and I agree. I think it's just going to get better. It's something to build off of. It's just going to get better each year, and I'm excited about it. So,
To jump on your, congratulations on Gil. Plus, he bought the beer and pizza tonight. So that's true. Yeah. So it's all about that.
So it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
It
that.
does not take much to get us over here.
Right, I can't wait for the next invite.
Well, there's going to be one, Coach, because I told you we're going to go. We did the last time we did the defensive stuff. We're gonna dig down a little deeper and start getting digging down deeper and deeper into the defense and not just overall stuff.
We need to start tapping into that high school NIL stuff. Let's go.
Hey, well, speaking of defense, I'm not going to jump ahead, but I'm looking pretty forward as I look at the stats here. Junior novice 26-0.
0.
Novice 27-0
0
in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Defensively, my eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
Hey, and again, no take on the varsity. Houston, obviously the high school team, state champs, got another run at it this year. Their program, undefeated. Hey, 28, that's a touchdown a quarter.
Yeah.
That's not a bad.
Against a pretty powerful team.
That's not a bad deal.
I love that we have those teams in our youth league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston, Escalon, Linden, of course. I love that.
Right.
Hey, what do you mean? What do we? You played them when you were, 12.
Right.
What do you mean we can't beat them?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. We know these guys.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
It's good. Good competition.
So couldn't agree with you guys more. I think the season, obviously, if you don't win it all, it's always gonna end disappointing. But overall, you got to put it in perspective with the whole program. Everything that's going on. A lot of great things happen at the high school for the JV team, for the varsity team, for the Pop Warner teams. The whole entire program is I think on the upswing. So I'm very excited about that. Let's talk a little bit about goals moving forward now, right? So if you just look at since Coach Mossa's tenure, that first year, 4-6, started off slow. What's going on? All right, we got in, but now we're out right away. But now this year, all right, good, positive, kind of, took the driver's wheel. We're in control now. Now, you may have people saying, all right, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, but how are you going to beat the teams you're not supposed to beat? How do you get to that next level? What's the goal moving forward? How do we get from here to where we want to be at that next stage?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with say, let's not forget what we've already done. We're setting the groundwork, to get there. You don't just get there.
Right.
It takes a minute.
Not just switch you turn on.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. One thing I'll say, and I know Coach Anderson can agree with this. This was kind of a surprise to us this year. Our team was about as close of a team as we've ever coached. They were tight. They played for each other. There was no arguments. There was no cliques. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
They were all there, one team. Day in, day out, practice, games, off-season stuff, and whatever the kids did, because it was them that really, to me, is the type of kids we had. We need that. That can't change. That's got to be the same. And then we just add to that. I think our number one goal is continuity. These guys now, now they know me offensively for the last 2 years. They're more comfortable with what we're doing. Coach Tappy is running it down below. Our youth program's running it down below. Hopefully we can just build off of that. And then the other thing is weight room. Let's get in the weight room a little earlier than we did last year.
Right.
And then I think we're going to be all right.
On.
Go ahead, Doug.
No, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah, the weight room is so important, and you just can't say it enough. And
Coach Anderson, you always used to say at the end of the season, I got one word for you. Weight room.
I wasn't sure if it was one or two words, but
That's what I wanted to address. Is it a compound word?
I don't know. Depends how fast you say it.
Either way, get in the weight room.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we have that group.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're already in there. We just, we needs to be for a little longer. We can't wait till the last second. We need to build muscle all year long.
I agree. And I think we talked about it in the preseason. We did some episodes about summer ball and all that stuff and spring ball and getting in the weight room and all that good stuff. And to me, some of it was like, trying to be bigger and stronger and all that. A lot of it is, hey, getting your body in a condition to where it could withstand an entire football season where you won't get injured, right? Yeah. So a lot of that has to do with it more than just, trying to be, Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Yeah, you see a lot of, we've seen it for years and years and years. The kids that don't lift get the shoulder issues late in the season, just the, not pointing fingers at anybody, but the dudes that didn't show up in the weight room got injuries.
It always seems that way.
Yeah.
It's like the first guy to get injured, never saw him all summer long in the weight room.
Right.
The last guy to get injured, that guy was in there every day, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way it works out.
Buddy Kavanaugh is a prime example. That kid came in as a freshman at 140 pounds.
He's not a big kid.
No, and I'm like, man.
But he's sitting there playing center in varsity football, snapping a ball.
As a freshman, I was like, all right, well.
And taking on blocks and doing what he's got to do.
And he's my dude.
Yeah.
And lasting a whole season.
Right.
Yep. Banged up and never quit.
Right.
Never quit.
And how many times did he have to face a big,
every week
nose guard and a big, right? A guy lined up, head up on him, twice his weight.
12 weeks in a row.
Just to rewind back to the shoulder injury that happened to Ferrante. It was no fault of his own. The Somerville kid came in from behind and kind of jocked him and threw him on the ground, and it was unfortunate. And it took him out of 2 games for us, which weren't really impactful games. However, maybe he was thinking about it a little bit against Linden and not, being as aggressive as he probably, in 10 years thinks he should have been. But that mother, I almost said the word, that mother carried us, man.
Reckless.
He was a dude. I'd love to talk about the guys for a little bit. Just some of the individual guys. Cody Ferrante, 5 foot what?
8,
9. Yeah.
160.
160, maybe. Yeah. That's with his 2 tattoos, right? That added weight. But that MOF is a bad dude.
Plays like he's 6 foot 2 something.
Yeah. Just tougher than dog shit,
We always seem to, back in the day, had players like that where you're like, you look at him in street clothes and you go, no way, that's him?
Yeah.
But in the football uniform, you go, that's the dude.
Yeah. And we talked about Buddy already. Buddy's just this kid that wouldn't even look like a football player. He looks like he'd be in the band. And he comes out and just owns the offensive line. And, honestly, he could probably have started this year at linebacker, if we weren't so deep.
Right. So, hey, you heard it, people. You're out there. If you're in the band, you heard Coach Anderson from yourself.
Come on down.
Put that tuba down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah. So, and Caden Spur, let's just talk about the seniors for a little bit, Caden Spur, tough kid.
I look at Monzo. I mean, here's a guy that could have took on this season as, potentially the quarterback and not play defense at all.
Yeah.
And
go in the tank.
Yeah. And then comes out and plays a different position on offense, starts there and anchor down our end position. Yeah. And, 2-way starter never came off the field. Just
he had grit.
Hey, I would say all grit. I was just going to say it.
Non-stop, serious motor. And, honestly, he could play at the next level and start right away.
Agreed.
With the way he plays. We talk to college coaches all the time, and they want to see players that when you're behind by 50,
right,
chasing the guy down on the last 7 seconds of the game and trying to tackle him, you know. That's the guy they want to see.
They don't want to see the film when you were up 50 to nothing and ran a 60-yard run.
Yeah.
They want to see when it was bad and you were still hustling.
So that's a different glitch in a dude's head. You know what I mean? So
he take a guy like pound for pound, take Ayala.
Yeah. Ooh.
Probably one of the hardest hitting kids on our team.
Oh.
And
Yeah. At halftime, we were down. You're trying to just kind of, it's like having a flat tire with 3 patches on it and it's leaking air and we don't have a pump, man. We just got to get this thing going, right?
Man.
And we're just like, hey, boys, you seniors, let's take some pelts, hang something on the wall.
Yeah.
And
we're not going to win the game. Let's win a play.
Let's
win a series.
Yep.
Let's win. Let's get something that we can remember and take home and say, this is mine. I remember this.
That was my halftime thing that I ended with them was like, hey, you guys, it's 50-0. Besides,
right.
The biggest miracle in high school football.
Right. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
But we have 24 minutes left to go have a memory.
Go make something happen.
Go make a memory. You're not going to forget the rest of your life.
And that kid, Ayala, came out and broke his freaking helmet. Had to borrow a sophomore's and nearly broke that guy's helmet, man. I was like, oh, my Jesus. Let's go.
That's flying around hitting people.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more, Coach Clark, when you're saying that you remember those memories. We had an episode where I told a story about when I played in a championship game, and I thought I hit a guy really hard, but it really came down to I hurt myself more than I did anything else. But I'll remember it 50 years later. I'll be on my dying bed, and you'll say, any last words? Also, tell Michael Brooks I got him good. I hit him good. You tell him that.
Where you at, Brooks? Where you at?
So you're always going to remember those moments. Yeah. What was the score of the game? Who cares? I had that moment.
So there were some kids that were, I don't want to call it in the shadows, but kids that didn't get a lot of playing time that I saw emotion after the football game. The Brian Clausens, when he showed up as a freshman, he is coming out of COVID, probably gained a lot of weight coming out of COVID, growing. He's like a baby giraffe, could barely stand on 2 legs. And honestly, that kid right there over the past 4 years, I'm the most impressed by.
Wow.
Because he could have quit 1,000 times, right? And he just kept coming back, and that's a tribute to, the way he was raised.
Sure.
And it's going to carry him through. So I really, really appreciate that guy.
And how about his buddies?
Oh, yeah.
Jorn Bowerson.
Yeah.
Jorn, I mean, let's talk about Jorn.
Yeah.
Not a real big guy.
No.
Played his ass off.
Yeah. He's
every game.
At that quick tackle spot on an island.
Yep.
Yeah.
We left him on an island quite often.
Make sure you handle business over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The Rattos.
And Jacob Ratto.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ratto was a pleasant surprise this year.
Yeah.
Last year, we're like, hey, man, you're a big guy. Let's go, But this year, he was ready to go.
D1 body.
Yep.
Coming into the season, we used to say, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. He played really well this year, and he made us really proud,
Yep.
He really did. His spare, too, that guy, he's been battling through. He walks around like he's 75 years old now, Seems like he's been here since 1974, too, but what a great kid, Bent, coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? Showed up second year playing football.
Wow.
And he ended up playing 75% of the snaps the last 5 weeks, So,
Yeah.
No,
and I think when you have a good team like this, we can keep going. Chris Ortega.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a receiver. We don't throw the ball very much, man, but his edge blocking,
my guy,
very good.
Yeah,
very
my
good
guy.
this year.
That kid's he's a stud.
I thought he played great
up.
defensively this year. He played great defensively.
Yeah. Multiple positions.
I like those tall defensive back guys. I know Coach Mossa is always different. He likes those, accessory guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
Chris,
what you want and what you get. Yeah. 2 different things.
Hey, number 3, I think that's Ortega's number. That dude's tough, man, and he has a little edge after the play. He's chirping a little bit.
Yeah,
he's tough.
Yeah.
He's that guy that you see in the bar, and he's all over there for rubbing up. Let's go. And then a fight starts, and he's swinging away. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, so we talked about how the season went. We talked about moving forward and the goals, getting to that next level. Any last season 1 from Let's Talk Football Coach Val stories for this past season you want to tell before I go into the very last Coach Val's rant of season 1?
Well, I've got one, and
excellent.
This has kind of been brewing. So my guys, my O-line guys, D-line guys, they're, it's 107 degrees out there, and these guys are trying to get air. And I've got Jordan Bowerson with his shirt off, all Brian Clausen, all these big guys, and titties are flapping. I'm like, boys, you got to put those things away, man. just not good for the environment, So one day, I come to practice and I'm taping ankles, I'm just trying to get to practice and go. And Brian is standing in front of me, and I'm like, "What, Brian?" And he's got his mouthpiece stuck in his belly button. And
it's stuck, or that's the spot?
I guess that's where he kept it. I don't know. And I go, "You're going to put that thing in your mouth?" Jesus Christ, what the hell's wrong with you? But those are the things that, in 20 years down the road.
The little things that you remember.
Sun's out, guts out.
Sun's out, guts out. You took my line, because I was going to say I don't even work with the line, but Brian, when you say 107 degrees, well, the last couple of weeks when it was 30, 40 degrees,
still out,
and it was freezing. But we had about 30 minutes of sun. Well, for 30 minutes, his jersey was tucked under his shoulder pads and his gut was hanging out. Yeah. He's all, "Hey, coach, sun's out, guts out."
And he's the guy, one of the guys that I was talking about at the end of the game. Let's not forget about our kicker, too.
Yeah.
Our kicker, man, he came out of nowhere. We were hard on him.
Cameron.
And put it on him in the playoffs. First round. Put it on him in the playoffs.
And he got it done.
He did not disappoint.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Cameron is, but we had a kicker that was pretty good.
Hey.
I just go off the roster, so I got to go off the roster.
That's our football inside joke. Yeah. Kickers are just called kickers.
Yeah. Right. Kicker, get in there.
So soccer's starting, 2 weeks ago, and we're in the first round, and we're getting ready, and we're revved up. Coach Mossa calls the team together, blows the whistle after sprints. Everybody, soccer's over there warming up in the end zone. Well, those are all his buddies, right? And I look over, and his soccer guys are like, "You got to go," pointing towards and he tries to sneak in like the Pink Panther, And I saw him, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But
I didn't see him.
No. Oh, he's over there on his phone. It's like the NFL, the old NFL stories, he's over on his phone, sitting in the tire.
Okay, we talk about, special treatment, right? Treating all the players the same, yada. Kickers are different.
Well, yeah. But,
he came in after the fact, right? He did not come in to play DB or whatever and say, "Hey, I want to kick." No, he came in. He was recruited by Ferrante.
Yeah.
He was recruited.
Yep.
Okay.
"Coach, I can kick." "Okay, well, can you make every day a practice?" I go, "Well, I'm not sure, And I said, "Okay, listen, you need to make Mondays. You need to make Tuesdays, right? You got to get a certain amount of practices in before you can actually play in a game. Of course, we got to go over some form tackling just in case, you know." And next thing you know, he's there every single day.
He's like, "Hey,
he's there every day." And then I forget the game. He had a great hit. Got called for a penalty.
I remember that.
Great hit.
That was over Riverbank.
Yeah. Great hit, man.
Penalty.
All shoulder. Yeah. Got a penalty for it. Yeah. Our kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a little attitude on him, man. Loved it.
Well, I love the way he bounced back after the Rip and Christian negative yard onside kick. Because that's hard to bounce back from, right? And I interviewed him after that, and he was like, I go, "Is it all right we talk about that?" He goes, "Yeah, it's all right."
Yeah. That was I was more mad about the taking the helmet off on the field,
right? Right.
But lesson learned.
No, he owned it. He owned the moment. He owned what happened. He tried to explain what happened. He's like, "Look, I tried to do this. I didn't get it, so it squirted off the side of my foot. Then it had a bad bounce and went backwards, and I went, no." Right?
I had my back to the field, and I'm drawing up the offensive line stuff, and I hear the crowd go, "Oh," and I go, "What the hell happened?" And I look and I go, "How the F did that happen?" Nobody knew. Everybody's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know."
It's just one of those rare cases. Like, how do you kick it backwards?
Yeah. That's awesome.
His defense, he did not make an excuse.
No.
I just screwed up.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it.
It was bad. It came on my foot. Then it got a bad bounce. Next thing you know, everything went bad after that.
He owned it.
Here's a good story about him. He first came to practice first day or whatever, and we're going to run sprints. It's Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it was, and Coach Mossa goes, "All right, backs, linemen, okay, boom, boom, boom," and he's looking at me, and I go, "You're going to get a better rest if you go with the backs." So he's like, "I'm running with the backs." He's not a dumb guy.
Good tip there. That was a good tip for him.
Yeah.
He's like, "Where do I go? What group do I go with?"
Well, that's what the tight ends do too. They're
Am I a lineman
they're
or am I a
lineman one day
receiver?
and a back if we have shorts.
Receiver, lineman.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's go back to that. Monzo with the carry.
Yeah.
What was that? Where'd you put him?
That was a Z wing.
That's tight end.
Okay. All right.
Tight end. No, we have it in. It just, it's one of those things where you really see guys flying. You want to do it, but it was towards the end of the game there, and it was like, screw it, let's do it. He was still going, still ready to play. So
yeah, he wasn't giving up. He wasn't giving up.
You rarely see a tight end get a carry.
Yeah.
You see him catch the ball, you see him block, you see him do all the other stuff. You see him date pop stars. You don't see him get carries.
So going back to Monzo, and we've had some decent tight ends around, but I think
ask Guy Dossie, he'll tell you one.
I know, guy love him some Monzo, but so does Coach Anderson. I mean, the kid, you tell him once, he understands it and he gets it and knows what you're talking about, and knows the importance of the position. He never came off a block when I asked him to stay on it, and he did well, man. I'm so proud of that kid.
Yeah.
All of the kids, but
I thought he had a great season. I thought from the outside looking in that he handled that I'm not going to be the starting quarterback. The younger guy's going to get it with grace, with dignity,
maturity,
and with maturity, and then just like had grit and saying whatever I'm going to do that really well.
Yep.
Right,
And he did.
Yep.
He did. He played his heart out every game, no matter where he was at.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate any other last stories from any of you guys before we get the very last season one Coach Val's rant going.
Let's hear it.
Hear it.
We could use a bus driver or two too. That's all I'm saying.
A bus driver.
We're having trouble getting bus drivers lately. So,
all right, well, you heard it, folks. Public service announcement from Coach Anderson.
Hey, we're trying to get Pops his Class B driver's license so you can drive the short bus for us.
I'm going to leave that one alone. All right, so hey, typically we go into Coach Val's rant. There's a topic involved, and I'm going to give you the topic here. There's no game. Usually, it's all pertinent to what's happening this season with the team and all that good stuff. I don't have to tell you guys. I'm sure you're probably, loyal listeners. This one is just more about me and what's happened to me recently and this past week that made me decide I got to go to the gym. So I went to the gym today. I didn't do anything. I just went there, took a look around. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Wow, there's a lot of people doing stuff around here. But I went there. But here's what was the events, the happenings that were happening to me that said, Coach Val, you better go to the gym. All right, here we go. I started to need a 3-way mirror to put my belt on. Tying my shoes in the morning was the worst part of my day. Every buffet restaurant in a 100-mile radius started sending me cease and desist orders.
Oh, Jesus.
Jelly Roll called me to see if I wanted to collaborate with him on his new project, 2 Tons of Fun.
Yikes.
Every giant burger out there still just looks like sliders to me. I was pulled over by the CHP for not stopping and driving right through a way station. And finally, Weight Watchers called me and asked if I was willing to be a permanent before picture.
Jesus. A little bit of self-deprecation on the way out.
All right, folks, that's the final Coach Val's rant of season 1. We appreciate all you listening out there. I want to thank you all out there for listening. Thanks to Coach Manny, Mossa, Coach Doug Clark, Coach Scott Anderson. I appreciate all you guys, everything that you've done this season, for being available to me, being available to the community, available to the players, everything you do for this community. Thank you all so very much for doing what you do. Totally appreciate that. This is the last episode of season 1. The season's over, so that every Friday episode, this is the last one. And then now moving here from now, as we get into the holidays in December, we'll go back into, as we did last year, 2 episodes per month with lots of different topics. I'm sure you guys are going to be a lot of part of that as we get moving forward. And then that'll keep going all the way until we lead into next season. And when next season gets started again, we will ramp up again to every Friday, going into the Friday episodes to those opponents that we're going to be playing. And then, of course, we'll continue to air those games on KVGC radio as those get started. So be sure to keep tuning in to the podcast, Let's Talk Football with Coach Val, for all those different episodes. If you want to contact us, you could do that by emailing the show, gilbertvaltierra@gmail.com. You can send us a text message through the show using the send us a text message link in the podcast page that you're using. We appreciate you and all the listeners out there for making this podcast a big success. Congratulations to the Calaveras faithful out there, for everybody, for the junior RedHawks and their junior novice and novice Super Bowl wins, for the varsity team making the Super Bowl, for the varsity high school team second round of the playoffs. And until next season, we are out. And it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.